Actually, it just feels so funny. Like,
Yeah, see, the problem with you hitting record right now is I know you're gonna do bloopers.
no, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's mad funny because it's like I know this episode gonna be low key serious, but we are so unserious.
Channeling and channeling.
Channeling. All right. Ready? Not your.
Okay,
Your. 2026. I'm coming for everything that I know is promised to me. Faith with works. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Behind the Work, the show where we focus on all things leveling up, glowing up, and becoming our best selves. I'm your host, Jessica Santana, and I'm bringing you the tips, tricks, and strategies that help us reach our highest potential. So whether you're working at a company, building your business, or you're just trying to level up, this is for you. At Behind the Work, we believe that we all have to go up together, so make sure you're tapped in. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Work, the show where we dive deep on all things leveling up, glowing up, and becoming our best selves. I'm your host, Jessica Santana. And if this is your first time tuning in, I want to say welcome to the show. So I'm excited because today is the last episode of season 2 of Behind the Work. And I am accompanied by one of my closest people in the entire world, Stacyann P. Russell. Everybody, make sure you give her snaps. Her snaps. So Stacyann is really one of those friends that is like mirror type friends, right? The type of people that you always want in your corner. And when I thought about this last episode, I was asking myself, should I just sit here and have a monologue like I've done the last few weeks? And I was like, you know what? No. I can sit here and talk to you all about 2025, what that has meant to me personally, the things that the show has brought out in me personally, but also what I hope it has left you all who have been tuned in and tapped in since the beginning of the launch of the show in March. But I actually thought it would be much better to have a friend who knows me, who has a front seat into my life to help me actually mine the data that's in my head about what this year has looked like for me personally, the lessons I've learned, the things I want each and every one of you to be learning as well. And I also thought about the fact that this year, when I first started the show, it was very much a season of transformation, deep pain. And what I've learned is that your life can really change in 12 months. And part of your life changing is having a solid group of people around you who hold you accountable to being the highest and best version of yourself. And Stacyann is absolutely one of those friends. And so she's here to conduct a reverse interview of your girl as my closing reflections for season 2. And season 2 was all about building legacies for the long term and what that looks like in practice. I hope that everyone who's tuned in got that kind of sense throughout the course of the show this season. And now I'm going to turn it over to Stacyann, who is going to ask, I guess, a series of questions. We're going to be in dialogue and discuss my thoughts for season 2 and just 2025 in general. Welcome back to the show, Stacyann.
Woo! Al, thank you for having me. Hey, everybody. Are you excited, Jess?
I'm very excited, Stacyann. I also am a little bit nervous because you know me so well. So I'm like, I don't even know what she has prepared, y'all. Because I basically gave her an overview of what I wanted to talk about, but I actually have no idea what's about to transpire and what she's about to get from me.
It's because, I'm such an amazing friend. I would never let you have any pre-prep when you sick with the people. You know what I mean? this is we're it's just we about to do our thing.
Yes,
I'm
we are.
excited for you. First, I want to say congratulations on season 2. I'm so proud of you. You know how it is. People are just like, yeah, I got this podcast. And then 3 episodes later, we're like, oh, okay, so this was like a pilot series. You girl, you did your
This is a violent type of episode. This I didn't realize that this was going to include some violence, but you are correct, girl. You are correct. You are correct.
No, but I say that I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just saying congratulations on the successful season 2.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so all right. So talk to me next, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you're closing this year. How's your heart right now?
That's such a good question. The word, when you asked me that question just now, the word that came to mind for me was aligned. How I'm closing this year feels very, very much in alignment. I spent the last 12 months doing some deep, deep digging of my life. The work that I did this year killed a version of myself that I was not familiar with and brought to life the version of myself that was very much always alive in me. And when I think about what that means for me, it feels so peaceful, it feels so divine, and it feels like I'm really ready for 2026 and all of what is part of God's plan for my life right now.
Okay, so when you say you feel aligned with what though? Because there's a lot of things that people can align themselves with. So what are you aligned to at the moment?
Yes. So I think that what I know I am most aligned to right now is the divine plan that God has for my life. Let me tell you why I say this. When I first started Behind the Work, for everyone who listened to episode 1, I was in a really dark place. I had just come out of a 2-month sabbatical where I had been celebrating 10 years of being an entrepreneur. And when I think about that time away from the States and the amount of energy I poured into myself during those 2 months to do a deep, deep reflection of my life, I believe that it was probably one of the most important periods that I spent with myself in 2025. And the show Behind the Work really came from a place of wanting to leverage my throat chakra and really unlock creative pursuits that I think I had been putting on the back burner for a period of time because of the own fears I had about whether or not I was worthy to have a platform and whether or not I would have anything meaningful to contribute to the world. And what I got from that sabbatical was that the time is now to be leveraging my voice, that the time is now to be stepping into my power, and that I can use the pain that I had just experienced to really power a version of myself that really that I haven't even met yet. And so when I think about what I am aligned to right now, it really feels like I am back in alignment with God's plan for my life, because there was a period where I feel like I lost the plot. And I took all of this year to rewrite my story. And so that is what I feel aligned to right now. I hope that answered the question.
Okay. So shout out to being aligned to God. And you just said a whole bunch, which I'm like, yes, thank you. We could throw out the script because I'm ready. All right. Help me understand the juxtaposition of I just got done celebrating 10 years of organization. We done a lot and I'm in a dark place. Because that was like the first thing you said. And I'm like, oh, we started. So help me understand how coming into 2025, you were holding those two positions, what I would say, very well, because the 10-year celebration for AOT was obviously like amazing, right? And y'all did not miss a beat. And to be in a dark place at that time. Talk to
Yeah.
me.
It's so funny that you asked me this question because I'm trying to remember how I felt in December of 2024. And I thought that I would struggle with answering this question because I might have forgotten what I felt in that moment and who I was in that moment. And it's so funny that as soon as you asked me that question, I was literally able, like my feelings were able to time travel just now back to that time frame. And I'm going to describe what was going on in my life at that time. A lot of people who have followed my entrepreneurial journey, they will tell you like it's been win after win after win after win, right? But that is because that is all that I post, right? Like no one really sees the behind the scenes of an entrepreneur's or a founder's life unless they are a part of that circle of inner, I would say, advisors and friends and family that really understand what is going on. And so while on the outside, I was celebrating tremendous, tremendous success in 2024. I had just hit 10 years of being an entrepreneur. I had every single thing that I could be proud of. It was a moment where sometime in the summer of 2024, I went into a place of darkness, and it wasn't depression because I believe that's like a medically diagnosed thing, right? But it was definitely a dark place where I started telling myself a set of stories that really had no business living in my mind. And
Mm.
part of that story that I was telling myself in summer of 2024 was very much embedded in all that I believed I had lost the last 10 years of entrepreneurship to get to a 10-year entrepreneurial milestone. And it really failed to acknowledge everything that I had gained because I feel like I was in some way or form dealing with feelings that come with what your social clock should look like. A lot
Mm.
of people say that, you know, in your early 20s, you graduate from college. By your mid 20s, you know, you are ideally married. By your late, um,
Tell us the lies. Tell us the lies,
it's the
girl.
lie. It's the lie. It's the lie. It's the lie, right? It's literally like, again, early 20s, you get married. I mean, you graduate school, you start your career, mid 20s, you find your person. By 30, you are, wedded with children. By 35, you have your house, you have your children. And then by 40, you peak. Like there's like your earning potential lowers. Like, you're supposed to be like in retirement, and this is when you're starting to choose purpose and service and charitable work and fulfill all these cups that you have been putting on the back burner for a long time, right? And I was like, oh my God, my social clock is delayed. I was just like, I'm supposed to be doing all of these things. And
Girl,
then, and
who expected life was 60?
it's true though, right? Like it's true though. I really feel like the outside world's narrative started plaguing me like crazy. And I've never, Stacey, and you've known me for a long time. I've never been someone who really just goes with the status quo. Like I've always been very rebellious. I've always done my own thing. I've always walked my own path regardless of what was going on around me. But that time frame in the summer of 2024, it was like all of these noises are really, really loud. And I was like, nah. I was just like, oh my God, like I'm really, really delayed. And so that idea of delay, that idea of what has been promised to me has not yet come to pass, this idea of, you know, I'm supposed to be doing this thing at this time, it allowed a lot of energy to enter my life because I was not in the right fear mentally to really ask myself critical questions about whether or not I was telling myself the right story about what my current status of life looked like. And so, towards the end of last year, before I launched the podcast and everything, I was a 10-year entrepreneur, multi-million dollars raised, big team, 3 offices, about to launch my 4th office. And yet it was still like, uh, you have some unresolved things that you need to take care of. And 2025 has to be the year that you take care of those things, because if not, you are literally playing in your own face. You know, you tell people all the time, Jessica, don't play in your face. You tell people all the time, Jessica, bet on yourself. You tell people all the time, you are worthy, you are worth it, you deserve. And yet, you weren't doing that for yourself. So at some point, I think about when I made that commitment to myself, I was literally on a balcony in Colombia, and I was like, no, Jess, this is the year where you get it all. This is the year where you get it all. And at the time, it was hard to believe that, right? I was like lying to myself. I felt like I was lying to myself on that balcony. Like, this is the year you're gonna get it all. I really thought, I really said it out loud. And then I said it again on January 1st to kind of convince myself that it was going to happen. And it was a hard thing to see. But looking at the last 12 months, Stacyann, this really was the year I got it all. And I am just in tremendous gratitude and good spirits.
So I love this. I love this. And we're gonna get to the 12 months, but for the person who might be there, like their 2025 is your 2024, right? Talk to me a little bit about where you thought those lies came from. Because I think one thing we don't talk about enough is like, if we can have it for somebody else, it means that we have it inside of us, right? So you don't have like, a FOMO issue, or like, can't encourage yourself issue. Like that's not something that you struggle with. So where did these lies come from?
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly think that it was the enemy at work. This was supposed to be a very amazing year for me. I was supposed to be celebrating 10 years. Everything about the light that I've brought into the world should have been bright, like shining really, really bright. Right. And one thing I know about the enemy, Stacey Ann, is that the enemy is right on time, right? Right when you're about to have a breakthrough, right when you're about to become the best version of you, experience the highest version of you, the enemy will show up. And for those of you who, may listen to this and are not Christian, I always, I know. I always tell y'all and remind y'all on this podcast though that I am a Christian. And so faith is a really big part of my life and the ways in which I move through the world. So the enemy in the traditional sense would be like the devil, right? But the enemy is also just anything that is not of God, right? It can manifest itself in human form. It can manifest itself as a little animal and you don't even know about it, right?
The bunny looks cute, but it ain't. The bunny is not.
That little bunny might got some rabies for you, you know?
Somebody's gonna get rid of their bunny today.
Period. Well, get rid of your bunny. Get rid of your bunny. Get rid of your yo, your bunny might got some rabies. Oh. Nah. Your bunny doesn't have rabies.
That's funny.
But truthfully, like, the enemy is just like anything that is not of God, okay? And it manifests itself in different ways. And so I believe that the thoughts were of the enemies, right? And the enemy was very much coming after me, right? And where I fell short, right, was that I was not creating the appropriate spaces to really reflect and like center God in my life. I've always been a God driven person, a faith driven person, but I'm telling you, the smoke was so evident. The universe just was so loud. I didn't even think about doing the first thing that I'm usually, up and going to do, which is like go straight to the word. Like when you're having these thoughts, like, did you go to the word, Jess? And to be honest with you, the answer was no. I was not going to the word. I was not going to. I actually was not going to anyone. I was kind of like dealing with this stuff by myself. And so I think that where those lies came from was definitely something that was not of God. It was the flesh really just joining forces with the enemy to create an environment around me that they knew I would not be able to thrive in. And where I did fall short again was that I was not really creating the space for God in my life, how I traditionally do. And I think part of it was like lack of time. I think it was exhaustion. I think it was sadness about things that I could not control that really are not in my realm of control. And I think I got to a point during that sabbatical where I had to surrender and say,
Mm.
you know what? The world is loud, the enemy's after you. What are you going to do? And what I did was fully surrender. Like 2025 was the year of surrender. I didn't get it 100% right all the time. But if I had to tie a number to the amount of times I got it right this year, it was about 98%. And I am feeling like I can tilt the scale in my favor next year from 98 to 100.
Okay, okay. It's so funny. Like the enemy is a one trick pony.
Mhm.
Like from page one to Revelation to our whole lives.
Mhm.
That's the number one indicator. It's like, who told you that? Like who told you that about yourself? And so you get to this place and you're gallivanting around the world in 2025. Um, what made you, I don't know that you took that space with the intention of like, oh, I'm going to seek God, but you were very intentional about taking a sabbatical. How does someone like you, who has three offices and about to open a fourth office and has the onus to make sure people get paid and people expect to see you and hear from you and they want you on their stage and all this stuff, how do you get to a place where you have time to stop long enough to even do something like invite God into your space?
Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. So that's
You
good.
got that.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. So it's so funny because I think what you're hinting at right now is just you have so much responsibility on a daily basis. Like I don't live the most average life. There are average things that I do on a daily basis, right? When I have to think about like what a 12-month time frame looks like for me as a founder and an entrepreneur, it is very different than what it looks like for somebody else who's not building companies and startups. And I have to say that because I think people don't realize like being self-employed, being an entrepreneur comes with tremendous responsibility that should not be romanticized, right? Like should should not be romanticized, okay? It looks cute. I got a lot of autonomy, but it's a lot of work, you know? And let me just say, like, I think I designed a schedule for myself that allowed me to take that break because I have what I call now residuals, right? 10
Mhm.
years in the game, like you have operating systems, you have built a strong team, you've done the thing to make sure that like you have cash reserves, right? Like there are a lot of things that can happen, that you have to build for to get to that point. But I knew that I was always taking a sabbatical of some sort. I didn't know when I was going to do it, but I knew it was going to happen. And so every single step that I took, the 12 months from January of 2024 through December of 2024 was about really making sure that I was refining my team, identifying the gaps, making sure we were saving money, cutting costs, and just making sure that like those 2 months, I was gonna be unbreakable, and that what I would do would be unbreakable because I knew I needed to spend time with God. When you're a 10-year entrepreneur, you're pouring in so much into the world, so much into the world, so much of yourself into the world. And I knew that this was time for me to start pouring into myself, right? When you're a business owner and you care about your clients, your customers, and for me, I care about my students and my families and my staff, like your mission is so, so important that you have to stay the course and you have to stay laser focused on your dreams and your visions and your goals. But your dreams and your visions and your goals are only as good as how you are, right? Like you cannot experience a good version of you and pouring it into people if if you haven't been like actually taking care of yourself. So I always knew that the 10-year mark, I was going to feel good about the decisions I've made, and that I was going to leave the organization in a good place so I can go for 2 months to just invest in me, because I have never done that. And being from where I'm from, it is such a privilege to literally just have 2 months to yourself, and it took me, into my 30s to have my sabbatical. There are people that go through these gap years now, but for me, I did this late in the game, and honestly, it's provided so much reflection. And that time, I knew I wanted to spend it with God because I knew there were a lot of questions that I had to answer about what is next for me, what should I be doing, how do I stay in alignment? And you can't always do that when you got a million other things in the background that are pinging you, emailing you, looking for you. And so I isolated myself. And funny enough, my community still found me, right? Like I had homegirls pull up to me in Costa Rica and Mexico, right? But it was actually towards the tail end of my trip. And by the time they saw me, some of the things that they were saying to me was like, wow, Jess, like you feel so light. Wow,
Mm.
Jess, you seem so good. And I was just like, I am. I am. Yeah, that is how you
Yes.
invite God into your life, as someone who has a lot of responsibility.
So it sounds like you were very intentional about it. Like you were like, I made sure the money was right. I made sure the my people were straight so that like I could step away and do what I need to do with God. So talk to me when you get there, right? It's like now it's just you and God. You had mad photo shoots. I remember that. What was outside of the photo shoots and foods, the pics of food and stuff like that, what was happening in the background that led to the transformation that would kick off your 2025 in like February?
Yeah, sure. So when I left the country, I packed more books than I did clothes. I packed more journals than I did makeup accessories. I packed my Bible. I packed some crystals. Yes, 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 I know. But
Ooh, you were touching that? Are we touching that or not? I'm gonna let you live.
I
I'm gonna let
packed
you
you can love God and have some crystals, okay, y'all?
you know it's debatable, but yeah, go do your thing, girl.
Different philosophies, but Stacey and I always get to the same place. Let's just say that. But yeah, like I just packed a lot of things that I thought were gonna help me. So that was my first step. My first step was like, girl, create the book list, bring your Bible, bring some writing utensils, and every day you were just gonna write and you were gonna talk to God and you were gonna sit by big bodies of water and you are going to cry. Girl, I cried so much I cried so much on that sabbatical. Like, I remember even sometimes calling my friends like, I'm in pain. I was
I'm like, so you're not being murdered.
no,
That's
no, no. I called Stacyann so much. I called Evan so much, Yoni so much. Shoot, I tried to call my sister, but my sister is not one of these feely type ladies. So when I was crying, she was just like, "Do you just need to come home? Just book a flight and leave." Um, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean, so yeah, I think that one of the things, like, I will say is like I got there. I had no real routine scheduled, right? Like, I got there and I was like, I am just gonna build and design the experience as I go, and I'm gonna do the things that felt natural to me. And naturally, I felt like being by water. I felt like being by elevated spaces. So a lot of the hotels and Airbnbs I booked, like, they were just in really beautiful spaces. I wanted to feel soft. So, like, I just didn't have like a regimented routine. Like, I'm a pretty disciplined person. And so I usually have a specific routine. And this was the first time where I was like, nah, like, you're not gonna do that. You're just gonna sleep with no alarm clock. You're just gonna go and
I
do
know that was hard for you.
whatever comes natural. And so that is what it looked like, right? I think what it looked like, Stacey, and I wish that I can sit here and say, step one, do this. Step two, I did this. Step three, I did this. And that wasn't it. The only step I took was to make sure that I created that book list and I bought the journal and I brought my pencils and I brought my Bible. But outside of that, there was really no prep. This was the first time where I just wanted to let go. And again, on the topic of surrender, when I was there in these countries, like, I really just surrendered to the universe around me. And it felt like a recommitment to God. It felt like a recommitment to my faith. And I think that the experience in it of itself, because I was in foreign places, like, it forced me to be uncomfortable and it forced me to not go into my routine as I usually do, to be able to get back to a place where I could make that commitment to becoming the best version of myself in 2025.
Yeah, so it sounds like you were super hungry. Like,
Mhm,
hey,
mhm.
I am going to this place. I am, and I'm not leaving until something is fundamentally different about my life, wherever I can get it, right? And so it's interesting because I think a lot of times we we don't leave room for the unknown, right? I mean, we know this in like business and everything in life, right? Like, you can have a whole plan set up. I'm gonna go to these countries, we're gonna do these excursions and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, God is trying to get your attention. And you said you're trying to get to God. And there's no room because you filled it with all the excursions you could possibly want. So you're leaving these places light. You're leaving with a whole podcast, right? And you're like, unapologetically and courageously, like, I am going to go for all the things. And it's super rewarding. Talk to me about the relationship between surrender and reward that you've experienced.
Ooh! That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yo, you're mad funny.
That's good. That's good. I'm thinking like I'm thinking like, wow, like, that's good. That's good. No, 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 no. Real talk, real talk. Like, let me be clear. Like, when I got back to the States, right? I was committed to re-surrendering to the plan, right? But I didn't get it right as soon as I made that commitment, right? Like, I think it's important to say, like, when I made that commitment,
You ain't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know what I was getting into, right? Like I didn't know that it would require an overhauling of a lot of things, right? Like I didn't know any of that. Like I didn't
Remember
know.
when you thought you were moving?
Oh my God. I remember I thought I was moving somewhere and I was like, nah. I was like, nah. Like for real, for real, for real, for real. Like I think that was the first commitment. That was the first decision that I made. Honestly, when I came back, I was like, all right, Jess, you got some decisions. That was the first decision. The first decision I made was like, nah, girl, you're gonna stay right where you are. Um, and that was great for me actually, like the level of stability that I have because of that first decision was really important, let me just say. And so I will say that when I first got there, right? Like I didn't know what the overhauling of this was going to look like. Like I or what this commitment to surrendering was going to look like. I didn't realize that like everything I might have planned, like actually you gotta throw it away, Jess. You just gotta throw it away, right? Because I fell back into that routine and regimen, right? When I got back, where I was going. I was like, hold on, actually, just like you, part of surrendering is like also not being so controlling of everything around you. Like sometimes it's just accepting defeat and being okay with that, right? And being okay with what comes with that. And so the best way to describe it, right, was that every single time something came up this year when I got back from my sabbatical was a moment where me and God were playing tug of war, right?
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is there's the image of the teddy bear, right? And the little girl. So there's a little girl who's holding a very small teddy bear. And she's like, oh my God, I love it, God. Right. And then God is like over her, right? And it's like trying to steward her to give up the teddy bear. And he has a really big teddy bear behind him. And he's just like, but I have something bigger for you. Right. And every single year, where every single time this year where I felt like I was about to grab the small teddy bear again, God really inserted himself in such a big way that allowed me to say, actually, no, I can't. I can't. And then what followed, right, was all of this stuff that I had been praying for to happen. Like it was literally like, boom, you let something go, you sign a partnership with Lewis Hamilton's foundation. Boom, you let something go. The next thing you know, you're on stage at one of the biggest tech conferences possible. Boom, you let something go. For the first time in your life, you're having your Hannah Montana summer in Europe, right?
At what point was you just throwing stuff out now? It's like,
No, for real. It was like, boom, you let something go. You getting big funding, right? From big corporations. And it's like, I feel like God was calling me all the time to stop playing it small this year. And when I was like, this is what surrender looks like. Like, this is what surrender looks like. Everything that is for me, that is promised to me, comes to fruition because I do actively harvest. But in order for me to actually receive the fruits of my labor, I had to go from stopping trying to make things that I want work and focusing on only making things work that I knew were from God. And
what?
it, oh, go ahead, go ahead. You got a question?
Oh, I'm like, but what about when you love it? You know,
Oh,
sometimes, you
that's
know,
good. That's good.
the things that, you know, you asking me to give up is not necessarily that. It's just, it could be good to me. It's good to me. Like, you not getting no complaints.
Yeah,
I'm like, what could you possibly have? Because I'm Gucci.
yeah,
Right? What happens then? because right now it's like it sounds like you're getting rid of stuff that you ain't really want to know, right? But what
Yeah,
about what about girl? What if like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, like the way that I see it is that you think you love it.
mm,
You think you love it because it looks like it feels like it.
I hear the
But
C word.
when you literally realize
Mm, mm, mm.
that you do not understand your own definition of love, it is very easy for you to say you love something, okay? And so I
Mm,
say that because a lot of us claim to love a lot of things, okay? But if it was truly the thing that you were supposed to love, right? Would it actually make you betray God's plan?
mm,
When you literally have an understanding of how God's love works, right? Which for me, I had to get back to that understanding, right? Because rather than being mad at God, I had to transform my mind to be like, all right, this is it. This is it. It's
mm,
not that you don't love me, you're actually protecting me, right?
mm.
It's not that you are not in love with me. It's not that you have forgotten me. It is literally that the plan that you have for me is so big that I can't even see it right now. And I think that you have brought something, but actually, that was the work of the enemy. And honestly, once I got there, there was really no coming back. And let's be clear, I didn't get there right after the sabbatical. I
Mhm,
got there 10 months into the year. Because when you make that commitment to surrender the plan, when you make that, you have to know that you are giving up a lot of things that you think cost you something,
mhm,
but actually they are weighing you down. It's not a loss. It is not a loss. And so I say this because your question was, what about what happens when you love it?
mm,
You may think you love it, but that is because you have no idea what's on the other side of what is promised to you when you give that up. And I'll give you like an analogy, right? Like a lot of us love ice cream, right? We,
Why
we
not the same thing?
like a lot of us
And have
love ice
no
cream.
business messing with lactose.
You have no business. Like you are so lactose intolerant, you have no business messing with that damn ice cream, you know? And or eating that ice cream, right? So you might think you love it. You might think
You
you
know what?
love
I
it.
just think that
But
sometimes we don't ask like the entire question because it's not about whether you love ice cream. It's about whether you love being in the bathroom all night.
all
Like,
night.
because to love ice cream is to also
Yes.
be in the bathroom all night. And so sometimes we be like, oh, I love this. Oh, but do you love all of it?
Yes. Yes,
Do
yes,
you
yes.
love
It's
all of it?
true. It's true. It's true. It's just like, what do you love more? The taste of it on your lips or the aftermath? How you feel after you indulge in it?
Because you
Like, do
can't
you
get
like
one without
that
the other.
part? Right. Like, do you like that part? Like, do you like how you feel after you indulge in it? Because they say a minute on the lips is a lifetime on the hips. Right.
But
So if
just no, but you don't understand. It's that different ice cream. You know, it's like it is ice cream, but it's like different though. So like this time, the ice cream is gonna be different for me because we are approaching it differently. Like I'm eating it during the day versus at night, and because I ordered it from Instacart instead of going to get it myself, like it's gonna be different. So that's what
Mhm.
you're not understanding.
Yeah, yeah. And so then my encouraging word to you, sis, is please go ahead and engage in the things that you like, but trust and believe
Yeah.
that the things that are actually for you will be withheld. It
Mhm.
will be withheld because you are not prepared. And I think that a lot of us want God's blessings, a lot of us want God's favor, but we are not willing. We are not willing a lot of times to give up who we were to become who we need to be to experience his promise. And I think that once I got there, it's been up.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit because this sounds real rosy, right? And you know,
Mhm.
I love the Lord. I'll pick it
Mhm.
every day of the week,
Of
right?
course.
But you talked a lot about we talked about the reward, right, of surrender. And now it's time to talk about the cost, baby girl.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Listen, 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 listen. Surrender is not free. It's not free. It's not
No.
free. It's very, very expensive. Surrender is not free. Surrender is very expensive because you all don't realize like how many things on a daily basis are going to come for you that might trap you in the old version of you that was trying to control the outcome. And if
Block
you
the
do not
number. Block the number. Block the number.
not
Sorry.
even just that, not even just that, obviously, surrender a lot of times, can be used in the romantic realm, right? But
Yeah.
surrender also looks like, yo, you might have a contract that is coming your way that is a compelling 6-figure, 7-figure contract, okay? And it might be so exciting because the profit that you will experience from that contract is so good. But what you don't realize is that you might be signing up to do work that was not on assignment with your plan.
Oof.
You might hate that client. You might not like the scope that you are in charge of. You might literally sign up for long nights and long days doing dreadful work just because you wanted to take some money and just because you wanted to make some money, right? And surrender, right, requires you to look at every single aspect of your life that is going to take up your energy and ask yourself if spending energy in those places actually yields you closer to the version of yourself that you want to see exist. This year for me, surrender looked like making sure that I didn't travel as much on a professional level because
Mm.
I wanted to spend time traveling more on a personal level. That when personal level travel came around, a lot of times I found myself really tired in previous years to go and justify getting on another plane to go explore another country, right? But this year I surrendered the idea that I had to go always be somewhere where I was visible because I thought it was going to get me closer to a business outcome. I surrendered that narrative because guess what? I've been bestowed with the blessing of a team. I've been bestowed with the blessing of people in my life that can support me and talk about me in rooms where I'm not in, right? And so I gave up having to, get on a plane and tell myself the story that if I didn't get on the plane, I wasn't going to get the money or I wasn't going to get the contract. And I had to be like, if that is actually what happens, if I actually don't get this contract because I'm not in the room, then that contract was not for me. And ultimately, Stacyann,
Mhm.
it just was not true. Every single client I was supposed to have this year, I've gotten. Every single partnership I was supposed to have this year, I got. There's some that obviously because of just the world in general, right? Like I was, I haven't been immune to what is going on in our economy, right? But every single partnership that I have cultivated over the years has come back, and I didn't have to sacrifice my body and my spirit and my routine and the daily practices that I have in order to be able to get there. And that is just testament to the reworking of the narrative as it relates to surrender, because a lot of times we pay the price of thinking that we have to do certain things a certain way, but what is actually for you will be for you, and you have to trust that.
So, does your life look like anything that you either thought it would or that you would choose for yourself? Or there are some things where you're like, okay, we're here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so let's be clear because we got to be honest, right? I will say this is going to sound really cheesy. This is going to sound really cheesy, y'all. But I really have built my dream life with an asterisk. Let's just say,
I
right?
already know what after it is.
Say it again.
I already know what it is.
With an asterisk. Oh, no. Are you gonna talk about the thing where it was like the deserve thing?
No, 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 no. Go ahead.
Oh. Okay, all right. All right. Well, I have built my dream life with the asterisk. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Like, I have mastered really understanding myself over the last 12 months again. I know what makes me happy. I know what makes me sad. I know the environments that I thrive in, the environments where I don't thrive in. I understand that I'm a work in progress. I give myself grace. I also make sure that, like, when I'm not being my best self, I put myself in the realm of best self, right? And I also have really been able to take all of these practices to create like a year-round schedule of when I know I'm going to be on peak and off peak, right? Like, I know that the summertime I'm going to do another Euro summer, because after 6 months of going so hard in a year, like, I need a full stop break, right? Same thing this January, I'm going to South Africa after 6 months of going so hard. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's after 6 months. Again, I need a full stop break, right? So I'm starting to understand what it looks like to live a really good life for myself that is very much in alignment with how I want to live my life, right? And the reason why there's an asterisk, right, is because I had to get comfortable with knowing that what I wanted one time might not be the same thing that I want now, right? And to say that you have built your dream life and then that's it, it's actually unfair and doesn't speak to the human evolution of who you are and who you become, right?
Yeah.
There was a period where I really loved going out and clubbing and going to the lounges, right? That was a part of no, truthfully, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was an outside girl. I love being outside. I love having a good time, you know. I love it.
You
It's my,
did.
and my energy, right? And if I didn't have outside time, I wasn't living my dream life, you know? And I
Thank God for deliverance.
Shut up. It's funny because Stacey Ann met me when I was in an outside season. Like, I just love it. I love people. Like,
It wasn't that. It was, you loved it. You were genuinely kerfuffled. That's how much it was. You were genuinely kerfuffled by people who also did not
Oh, yes.
aspire for the outside life.
I used to be like, you don't want to go outside? You don't want to have fun? You don't want to turn up? Like, what do you mean? but, but growth. but 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 growth, you know. I'm older now. But growth. And so, back then, if you would have asked me if part of my dream life was to stay inside, like I'd have been like, are you crazy? What are you speaking of?
I got real
Um,
tears. I got real tears.
but it's true. It's so true. Like I was baffled by folks that didn't want to be social and all that. I'm just like, what are you talking about? But now, like, part of my dream life is like rest, right? It's silence. It's going out intentionally, right? Spending time with people intentionally, right? Less about quantity, more about quality, right? There are maybe like a few months that could pass by where I don't see Stacyann, for example, right? But then when we're together, the quality of time that we spend together is so beautiful, right? And we go into the depths of lots of things. And so I think that yeah, it's I've built my dream life with an asterisk because I'm giving myself the permission to just evolve in my likes and dislikes over time. And I believe that each and every one of us who are on a path to trying to build the life that we dream of have to make the commitment to really listen to our minds and our bodies and our spirits about what is aligned with what we're supposed to be doing, like what are the things that feel natural to us, and then obviously making an active plan to safeguard the things that are around you that actually create an environment where you can be the best version of you. And again, that takes time, right? It's not something that you just make the commitment and then boom, that's it. You got to give yourself grace to become that over time.
Yeah, I hear you talking about rhythms, right? Rhythms of work versus rhythms of rest, right? And again, this notion of intentionality, like you're almost like surgical with it. Like I'm going to intentionally build this life around so that when I surrender, it's not for naught,
Yes.
right? That you get the dividends from a surrender because you're also intentional about building that up. So I have one more question before we go to 2026 because I'm super excited to hear about what you're excited about. But we talked about surrender so much, and I'm wondering, God is a person that can also call us to surrender to things that are does not feel rewarding, right? And so after having such a rewarding year, how do you think you would respond, or are you prepared for God to call you to work in spaces that really are opposed to this life you just spent a whole year building? Like if he called you to work in with organizations and groups that you're like, absolutely not, you would never catch me in this place. Like, are you prepared for that part of surrender?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, I had to experience a lot of growth mindset when it comes to no, because I think people think surrender is like surrender all the bad things and then like you get good things. Like, nah, yo. Surrender is also like I am going to make you so uncomfortable and keep you in such a uncomforting place because I want to see how you are going to actually thrive in this environment because you're not going to get the version of you that is promised by you doing old things, right? Or things that like keep you in a status quo, right? So I'll give you an example of this, right? I really, really feel called to this podcast right now, right? In this season of my life. I feel really called to this podcast. And at the same time, while I am loving it and I am liking it and I am enjoying it, the moment God says, just put the mic down, I'm going to put it down despite it being good right now. You know what I'm saying? The moment that God says put the mic down, like I'm done, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with AOT, right? With the organization I've been running for 10 years. Like the moment God says, Jessica, your assignment is finished, regardless of how comfortable I am, like I'm okay with that, right? Because I have detached myself from the outcome that I wish for. And I right now only wish for things that are of God, even if it means having to be uncomfortable, because I know that I deserve that, right? Like
Mhm.
I deserve to experience comfortability that gets me to the most authentic version of me. But again, I know that in practice and on the day to day, you don't want to sometimes, but I am encouraging you to let past narratives of you, your comfortability, like let that be tested a little bit, because I'm telling you, there is a version of you that is awaiting you that you really gonna like her. I really
Yes,
like me right
that's
now.
good. Yes, I'm with it. I'm with it. And it's crazy because it's something like we could not. You kind of spoke to the scripture. I think it is First Corinthians 2:9. But drop it in the chat. Uh, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor the heart can imagine. What the Lord has planned for those who love the Lord. And you said it. You were like I couldn't even imagine. Like I can't see it. And so that is on the other side of this. So talk to me. I want to know the biggest thing that you can imagine for 2026. Like going into it, since you're like flying on a high, you're all light and stuff. You know what I mean?
um 2026, I'm coming for everything that I know is promised to me. Faith with works. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's the kind of year that I'm going to have. I know it. I feel it. I can sense it. I can smell it. I have done the work the last 12 months. I really have. God,
Mhm.
I did. You know, like there is no denying that I have done the work. And granted, again, there were moments this year where it was like, girl, what you doing? You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like God be running infomercials sometimes. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yeah, it really be like that. It really be like that. Like it literally be like, okay, the plot, I love it. It's going good. It's going good. And then it's like, but wait, where I'm like, in those moments, honestly, I'll give you an example of like, but wait, there's more. It's like I was having like a few weeks ago, I was having a good morning. Like I was driving, went to my little trail, had my matcha in my hand, was about to do my hot girl walk, and poof, the tire blew out. I was
Again?
like, again. I was like, oh wow. Like the plot done thickened because now I had to had to reorganize my day, right? Like you're gonna have moments like that. You're gonna have moments like that. But I honestly think that if you stay prayed up, if you
Mm.
really stay prayed up, if you go to your word, whenever you are confused, know that God is not a God of confusion, and just go back to the basics, y'all. Pick up the word, pick up the Bible. Everything that you need is in there. Everything you need is in there. And again, okay, for those of you who might be listening and are like, you know, I don't know where to start with this Bible thing, right? My best encouragement is then to just download the Bible app and just start browsing through it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, that's literally what I had to do. I remember when I started my faith journey again in 2019, thanks to Stacyann. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to start, but what I was committed to was at least starting. And you get it over time. Like it's not natural for a lot of us to be in a season of transformation, be like, you know what? This was a hard day. Let me go to the Bible. Like some people don't think that, right? Some people are like, it's been a hard day. Let me go to my homegirl. But like she's probably figuring stuff out too, y'all. So honestly, just go back to the word. I think that that is the best thing that you can do. Um, and that is where you can start. That is where you can start. It's not going to be a clear cut path. That's not the way the world works. That is not the way God works. He's like, he provides clarity, but he ain't gonna always tell you the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, nor the how. That requires like a lot of time with him, and a lot of time praying and discerning and assessing what is being
You know,
said.
he'll always give you the next step. He just won't give you all the steps. He
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's that next one.
Yes,
Just a one. Just
yes.
I think, I love that you say go back to the word because the word is true. And it's the one thing that's gonna like it outlast everything, every situation, every government structure, everything, right? Like this, our lives, this generation. And but I will say, like you had people around you. I think the other thing too is like when you may not even be feeling like you don't know if you could trust the word yet, right? It's like written in all these different translations. It's like, some old man wrote it in, supposedly in different languages and stuff like that. I try to be real with people. I'm like, I get it. But I think there's also people like surrounding yourself with people who actually embody the things that you say that you want will help you begin to be vulnerable to open it up again, right? And it's like I can imagine with you, like you're so light, right? The only answer to that is your relationship with God, right? It's not like, oh, what it's the walks and the matcha, right? Like it's not necessarily that. So I just thank you for living your life out loud for people so that they can see, what do you want people to do for themselves going into 2026? Because a lot of the world feels like doom and gloom, girl. Like if you let the world tell it, it's doom and gloom. But you sitting here, extra moisturized. You look like you live in the world, but not of the world. So talk to me. Talk to me about what you want people to take into 2026 so that they might be able to experience something different than they could even imagine for themselves.
Yeah. We are living in a day and age where folks are being encouraged to become the main character of their story. It's like
Mm.
main character energy, right? I am going to encourage you to make God the main character of your story. Because honestly, each and every one of us is being used as a vessel. You might not realize it, but like you literally are here on assignment. Like each and every one of us are here on assignment. And when you make God the main character and just sit and observe what he's doing, forget what you're doing, forget what you want to do. When you make God the main character, and you watch what he will do for you and for others, I promise you that your 2026 is going to be fantastic. Of course, make your vision board, do your end of year reflections, clean out your closet, right? Do all those things. Those things are important. Those things are important. Yes, please clean out your closet. You don't need to be holding on to things in 2026 that you haven't touched in 5 years, you know? But
I feel attacked.
that was
My
a that was a message for me too.
my shoe collection. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but I'm telling you, like, make God the main character of your story because God be doing, he do so many tricks. Like, it'll be so entertaining for you to see God as the main character in your own story. And I will also say, like, God as the main character will have you looking amazing. Like my skin is glowing. Your girl done lost some pounds. Like,
Okay. Okay.
you know, we
Show
cute as
us
cute.
this. Show us this. What is looking like? What is looking like? Ooh, the glory look good on you. The
The
glory look
glory
good
good
on
on me. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Faith with works, y'all. Faith with works. I'm telling you. Make God the main character. That is how you have a successful 2026. It ain't gonna be a vision board. I mean, it's gonna be part of it, but it ain't gonna be just you
Yeah,
sitting
that's
in
the
your room
subtext, right?
cutting and pasting things to a dot to a plastic board or whatever board. Like it's gonna be that and faith with works. So
So, are you suggesting? Are you telling me, Jessica,
yeah.
that I should make my vision board and then surrender it to God? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
What I am saying, what I am saying is that with or without the vision board,
Okay.
surrender is required.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't get out of
Because,
that.
because if you just have the vision board, you just gonna
That's
have
what you got. That's
you
what you got.
you just gonna have the vision board. You gonna have a nice little collage, but but like nah, you gotta surrender in any scenario that you put it. You got to surrender. So, with or without the vision board, surrender is required, whether you
Okay.
like it or not.
Wait, so I know I said I was gonna let you go, but yo, is there anything you leaving in 2025?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think what I'm leaving in no, no, no. I know that what I'm leaving in 2025 is a version of myself who I have forgiven.
Ooh,
And I am very much coming into 2026 as the version of myself that is forgave. So,
oh, I love
mhm.
that for you. Shout out to you for forgiving yourself.
I know each and every one of us has to forgive ourselves. You gotta forgive the fact that you ate that pizza at 12 a.m.
First of
You,
all, whoa.
not you,
You got,
not
you got,
you,
you got
not like, but for real, like you got,
Let
you
me
gotta
sign up for my Orange Berry class right now.
It's like you gotta forgive yourself for eating the pizza at 12. I know you ain't had to do that, but like you get a new day. Um, you have to forgive yourself for saying yes to things that you shouldn't have said yes to. You have to forgive yourself for doing things when you ain't have complete information. You have to forgive yourself when you find yourself mad at God. You have to forgive yourself for when you and your parents got into that little argument and now you realizing you should not have said what you said about what happened in 1999. You know what I'm saying? Like this this is probably yes, this is probably one of the most important things that you can do is like if you leave anything behind is like leave behind the version of you that you do not forgive, and practice forgiving yourself every single day because it's important.
I love it. I love it. So we going into 2026, forgiving ourselves and giving that new version the freedom to show up with God as the main character so we don't lose the plot. Hard to lose the plot when God is the main character. Well, Jess, I am immensely proud of you. Like it's not lost on me the vulnerability it takes to live your life in front of someone and I I always count it a privilege and my honor to have a front row seat to your life. You've grown so much over the years and in ways that I think that shows like your heart, right? And I've always said this. about you, who you are, has always been like exponentially better than what you do. And I think like that is starting to merge. And so people are getting more of who you are, and you're getting more of who you are. So, congratulations on just the immense progress that you made, for the deeper intimacy that you have with the Lord, and like all the people that are assigned to you that are being blessed for that, including myself, right? Although Chef Jess really hasn't made any meals, but I guess it's blessing. It's
I
coming.
haven't been in Stacyan's presence long enough to make meals. That's coming. That's coming.
All of Instagram has had a meal, but we're not talking about that right now. But I'm proud of you, girl. I say all that to say I'm proud of you, and not because I'm hungry. Okay.
You are so silly. Thank you so much, Stacyann. And let me also say, honestly, girl, I love you too. I count it as a privilege to have a front seat into your life as well. I just remember us circa 2019 and who we were and what we've become.
Mhm.
And I honestly will say, Stacey, and that I am equally proud of you. I am equally impressed every single day with how you show up for yourself, how you show up for the people around you. I really feel like I've known you from a past life. Like, I'm pretty sure at some point in time we were on one of the islands, either Puerto Rico or Jamaica, and we was running around being menaces at the tender age of 8 years old, throwing pineapples at people, throwing coconuts at people. Like, I see it. I see it. I'm pretty sure we were there together. I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know. I feel like Pauline and Auntie Cassie got that strong. That's
that that yeah, yeah. Well, somebody's mama was gonna be pulling some tails. Um, because that's what happens when you grow up in a Caribbean household. But
Mhm.
I love you so much. Thanks for doing this. And
Yeah,
happy
only for
New
you. You know that.
I know you
I'm
you
like, we should be testing this friendship because why?
I appreciate you. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the last episode of season 2 of Behind the Work. We're going to be back in 2026. So make sure that you follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and social media. If you thought 2025 was dope with Behind the Work, we have so many cool things planned in 2026, and I cannot wait to continue to unveil everything that is going to happen under this brand. My spirits are high, my love is big, and I'm wishing each and every one of you a fantastic holiday season and a great start to the new year. See y'all in a few weeks. Mwah. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Behind the Work. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and follow us on social media. I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing how this show is leaving an impact on you.